Now it's time for closing statements. It's hard to believe that it's already been that long, but we will start with the candidates in last name in descending alphabetical order. So Miles, you'll begin with your 2-minute closing statement.
Thanks again for hosting us, but I'm an America First conservative because I understand what it's like to struggle. As I said earlier, I grew up in rural Oklahoma, living in a trailer with a single parent, no electricity, no running water, and watched it destroy my mother's life. Like most Oklahomans, I didn't inherit a business, or I wasn't born into wealth, and I've had to work for everything I've got. My argument to voters is, don't just vote for me because I'm not Kendra Horn, but vote for me so you know one of your own is up in Congress who understands you, who shares your values, who will fight for you, and who is one of you, and who holds American First priorities. And what are those America First priorities? An immigration moratorium and building the wall to prevent not only illegals from crossing, but those super lab opioids from destroying lives, neighborhoods, and communities. Ending the corruption of these visa programs for work that result in Americans losing their jobs and training their own foreign replacements, and opposing these trade deals that put capital first and small business owners last. And also defending traditional women's spaces and athletic programs from an invasion by biological men. And as we've seen now in the midst of this pandemic, we have to return the manufacturing of our pharmaceuticals and medical equipment to the United States so our nation's survival is no longer dependent on a hostile foreign power. Please vote for me, Miles Rahimi, and support me by visiting my website at milesforoklahoma.com. I'm a grassroots candidate. 92% of my donations are small dollar donors. Help me today by becoming one of those small dollar donors. Thank you, and God bless. And God bless the United States of America.
Thank you, Miles. Next is Charles Pringle with your closing statement. You have 2 minutes.
Well, Miles, don't feel like the Lone Ranger. I grew up in a town where we didn't have running water. We didn't have a toilet. That we had an outhouse out in the back in Frederick, Oklahoma in 1936 is when I was born. And so don't feel like the Lone Ranger. And I'd like to say that the question is, after you watch this debate tonight, all of us agree pretty much on the same things. Well, Michael and I, we had a little difference on one opinion, but that's okay. But the question that I want to raise is, how are we going to get it done? And I believe that I'm the man that's going to get it done. If I am lucky enough for the people to hire me to do their business in Washington, D.C., every bill that comes across my desk is going to be scrutinized from front to back. And I'll put in amendments and I'll change it. I'll do whatever I can. I will not do anything for where I forgot a while ago, Planned Parenthood. But I would like to say one thing. I am against foreign aid. We can't police the world. Although I am in favor of helping Israel. I'm a Christian. I believe that the Israelis are the lifeblood of the Christian nation, and that's where I'm at. And and anybody that belongs to an organization, whether they're Muslim or whatever, if they have a philosophy that they want to destroy this country, they should not be allowed in because we don't know who they are. Now, Miles, don't take me wrong on this, but you apparently came from the Middle East somewhere, as I understand it. But how do we know that if you were a Muslim, you didn't have that same feeling? And that's the problem we have. We don't know when these people coming in here, if they're coming to destroy our nation. And this is what I want to get away from.
All
And
right.
To respond to that, Charles, is, I was born here, and growing up in a broken family, I wasn't raised to celebrate religion. I didn't find my faith until 2012. In fact, before then, I had registered as a Democrat. So it's amazing what happens when you find your faith. But my faith has only been strengthened. And Oklahoma is what allowed me to become who I am today. Because Oklahoma is not just a heartland, it's the heartbeat of American values and community that I will fight for.
All right, thank you, Miles, for that response. Jake Merrick with your 2-minute closing statement.
James Madison said, "A limited government alone is inadequate for our nation." And John Adams said, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." Ben Franklin, one more, said, "Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom." What we're seeing today is a clash of worldviews, fundamental worldviews. When you see a vast majority, if not half of the population, in favor of a socialist regime, I have strong convictions. I believe we must end abortion. I believe we must end human trafficking. I believe in vaccination choice because it's our fundamental right to decide what happens to our bodies and the bodies of our children. I believe in healthcare reform, securing the border, balancing the budget. I have strong convictions about all of these. But I have to go back to the foundation of what are we witnessing in our culture, in our nation? What is causing this vast gulf, this great divide in our nation? And what is the root problem? And I believe it is, at its core, a worldview problem. People say, can't we just set aside politics and religion and just agree to treat each other with fairness and decency? The problem is, who decides what is fair and decent? Like the late Ravi Zacharias said, we can't pull ourselves up by our own ethical bootstraps. A standard must be established, and in fact, it was established already. 233 years ago, 39 men gathered, 39 men of extreme intellect and conviction, and they wrote a document, our Constitution, that could only be superseded by the Bible on which it was based. We don't need a host of other laws, additional laws. We need to simply return to the laws that established this nation, that established this republic that was intended to be governed by the people, and continue to ensure it remains the greatest country in the history of the world. My name is Jake Merrick. You can go to Jake for the State for more information on me and my campaign. I'd love your support.
All right, thank you, Jake. Next up is Shelli Landon.
All that remains is for good men to do nothing, for tyrants to reign again. Thomas Jefferson. Washington said to Hamilton, his financial advisor, "Do not re-engage with foreign powers again after such a bloody price was paid for this revolution, for God Almighty has put all we will ever need beneath our feet." That's a good message. Grassroots. My parents were farmers. They farmed this land, and they came from the loins of our founding fathers who took bullets and fired bullets in that bloody revolution to birth this nation. My fourth great grandfather gave his entire sum of wealth along with other patriots so that the posterity of this nation would have the chance to endure. It's been a great price that has been paid, and I feel it will be a tremendous honor to go to Washington, D.C., and to represent you and fight for you as an Oklahoman, to fight for you as a United States citizen, and to fight for the things that will cause your posterity to survive into the next generation with a blessing upon them. I also heard General Jerry Boykin say when I was singing the national anthem at the Council for National Policy and working on Resolution 550 to preserve our Star-Spangled Banner, he said, if we lose our national anthem, we lose the anchor to our national defense. So I drafted Resolution 550, knocked on the doors of 99 congressmen and senators, bipartisan, learned to work with them all and all the processes in Washington. I found out how to get a bill passed without being elected. So I know the system. I don't have a learning curve in front of me. I fixed it before. I can fix it again. I'm also working with a hands-on program to assist and fix the border Beyond what we're going to do with Just a Wall, I support my president, President Trump. You'll see his thumbs up on my website for my Ground Zero prayer shield, because only God can make America great again. Benjamin Franklin quoted Psalm 127 and said, "Unless the Lord build the city, they labor in vain that build it." And I want to have us go back to Town Hall Forum. We've all learned how to use the Zoom through this COVID-19. And I appreciate all of those police officers, those that have worked through the COVID-19 in our health industry. And I appreciate every single one of them. But I want to take that and pull it into a Town Hall Forum mode of getting America back to governing themselves with their legislators in constant communication. So I look forward to serving you. LandonForCongress.com. Call me, text me, and I will be happy to speak to you in person.
All right. Thank you, Shelli.
Well, thank you so much, Joshua. I appreciate this opportunity to spend time with you and the other candidates. I especially want to thank all the people that waited so patiently for this to start. And you guys are fantastic. Thank you so much. Listen, it's time to make a change in America. We're at a crossroads. We have a representative right now in Kendra Horn who told us one thing and went to Washington and did another. We have a candidate who went and stood and became a part of the squad, pushing a radical left-wing socialist agenda down the throats of Oklahomans and Americans. We're better than that. Oklahoma deserves better. Like President Trump, I'm not a politician, I'm a businessman. I know how to create jobs, and I've done that through my life. I'm a manufacturer. We take raw materials, we add skill and labor, and create a product that's valuable. We create wealth. So many of the issues that we talk about can be helped along and solved by people having great jobs with great benefits. That's what I've spent my life doing. This is not something that I've sought after in my life. This is not even something that I've considered before this. But I know for sure that Oklahoma and America needs a candidate, needs a congressman that can fix things, that can put America back to work again. I spent my life competing against China, competing against Mexico, under a lot of very unfair and biased trade policies. We have to get to work. We need our people back to work. We need to provide those high quality, high paying jobs that people need so much. Listen, you've got a lot of other people in the race to choose from. You know, I'm telling you that what we need is a businessman, an outsider, not another politician that will go to Washington and play games. I won't go along to get along. I'll go there to fight for America. I'm David Hill. I'm asking you for your vote. You can read more about me at our website, davidhill4ok.com. And again, have a great night. Thank you so much for your patience and listening to this tonight.
All right. Thank you, David. Next is Janet Barresi.
Everybody knew that the year 2020 would be the most consequential year of our life. We knew that we had to rally the American people to defeat Nancy Pelosi and make sure President Trump has a second term. It was critical for our children and our grandchildren. But little did we know that an invisible killer would be invading our shores and cause the death of over 100,000 Americans and destroy our jobs at an unimaginable pace. Not since 9/11 have we had any kind of an incident that has affected every single American. But as we did in the days after 9/11, we are rising again. We need a congresswoman that will stand with President Trump, that will fight for our workers and work to defend our conservative values. Now, my friends, let's consider something. After this nomination process is over, the Democrats, the socialists, and the liberals are going to launch a tsunami of resistance against our party's nominee. That will require somebody that has experience in going up against liberal and socialists and those that want to ruin our rights. I am that person and has been experienced in that, not just in the general election. I will take that into Congress. I will go up against Nancy Pelosi, Nadler, and Schiff, and we will stop what they are doing in Congress. I am that person with that experience. I am that person with toughness, and I'm asking for your vote on June 30th. Go to janet2020.com and please vote for me on June 30th. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, for the last closing statement will be Michael Ballard.
First off, I would like to thank not only you, Joshua, but your entire staff, the college Republicans, Dwayne, everybody from David all the way down to the hamsters, goldfish, and everybody that helped put this together. Because you are helping everybody get their word out, and I appreciate that. And I'm sure I can speak for the other candidates as well for y'all, the hard work you did to put this on. With that being said, we can all agree that Kinder Horn has got to go. As President Trump used to say on The Apprentice, you're fired. And I look so forward to looking at her in November and telling her she's fired, and then telling Nancy Pelosi she's fired as well. What we need is that, she's got to go, but we can't just replace her with just any Republican. We've got to replace her with a godly, God-fearing, Christian, conservative Republican. We can't send somebody up there that has a history of raising taxes, expanding government, and pardon my French, but we have a country saying here out in the country, don't pee on my boots and tell me it's raining. We've got one or two people in the race, and not just our race, but across the country that does that. They do conservative karaoke. But they get up there, they're just as bad. We don't need just any person to replace Kinder Horn. We need the right person. We need a proven fighter. I proved that in my military career. And I'll close out with saying, please check out my Facebook campaign page and my website as well, Michael Ballard for Congress. I've got several meet and greets coming up here, homemade ice cream and cake, and all you can eat of that. And then I got another rancher here that's putting on another meet and greet, and anyone that shows up gets pork ribs. So come on out. And God bless each and every one of y'all.
All right. Thank you, Michael, and thank you to the other candidates. That concludes our CD-5 candidate debate. Thank you to all candidates again who participated this evening, being patient with us as we hosted the first debate remotely for CD-5. The OKFCR are honored to work with the OKGOP and to make a successful virtual event. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like on Facebook and consider donating to the OKFCR by visiting donate.okfcr.org to ensure that we can continue putting on successful events and getting Republicans elected. Just a reminder that June 30th is the primary. Don't forget to go out and vote. You heard the candidates here, the ones that were able to make it. Once again, my name is Joshua Shultz. I am the OKFCR Secretary and OKFCR CD-5 Chairman, and it has been an honor moderating this evening. Thank you for all tuning in, and stay updated with the OKFCR by visiting our Facebook page and our website. Thank you.